Francesco Forgione was born on May 25, 1887. He was born in a small town in Italy called Pietrelcina. His family was simple and poor, but they were rich in faith. His parents, Grazio and Maria Giuseppa, were hard-working farmers. They loved God very much. From a very young age, Francesco felt a deep connection to God. He was not like other children. He preferred to spend his time alone. He would pray in the quiet corners of his home or in the local church. He saw Jesus, Mary, and his guardian angel often. These were not dreams. They were real experiences for him. Even as a small boy, Francesco knew his path. He wanted to give his entire life to God. He told his parents he wanted to become a priest. Specifically, he wanted to be a friar with a beard. His family supported his dream completely. But entering the religious life required education. His family did not have money for school. So, his father, Grazio, made a great sacrifice. He traveled to America to find work. He wanted to earn money to pay for his son's studies. This great act of love showed the family's deep commitment to Francesco's calling. It was a foundation of sacrifice upon which his holy life would be built. At the age of 15, Francesco was ready. He entered the Capuchin novitiate. This was a time of training and preparation. He took a new name, Fra Pio, which means Brother Pio. He chose this name in honor of Pope Saint Pius I. The life of a friar was very demanding. It was filled with long hours of prayer, fasting, and hard work. Fra Pio embraced this life with all his heart. He was known for his serious nature and his deep devotion. He studied hard and prayed even harder. His health was often poor, but his spirit was always strong. He was preparing for a life that would be marked by both incredible grace and intense suffering for God. On August 10, 1910, a great joy came. Fra Pio was ordained a priest. He was now Padre Pio. This was the moment he had dreamed of his entire life. He could now celebrate Mass and hear confessions. He could bring Jesus to the people. His first Mass was in his hometown. It was a beautiful and emotional day for his family and his community. Everyone could see the holiness in this young priest. Little did they know that God had a very special and very difficult plan for him. His journey as a priest was just beginning. It would be a journey that would touch millions of lives and show the world the power of God's love. A few years after becoming a priest, something extraordinary happened. In 1918, while he was praying in the friary of San Giovanni Rotondo, Padre Pio received the stigmata. These were the 5 wounds of Jesus Christ. They appeared on his hands, feet, and side. They were real wounds that bled and caused him great pain. He would carry these wounds for the next 50 years. This was a visible sign of his deep union with Jesus. It was a sign that he was sharing in Christ's suffering for the salvation of souls. Many people came to see him. Some believed while others were doubtful. But for Padre Pio, the wounds were a constant, painful reminder of God's immense love for humanity. Padre Pio's life was centered on 2 main things, the Mass and the confessional. He would spend many hours each day hearing confessions. People from all over the world waited for days just to confess their sins to him. He had a special gift from God. He could read hearts. He knew if someone was not being truthful. He helped people face their sins with courage. He guided them back to God with love and firmness. His words were simple but powerful. He would often just say, "Pray, hope, and don't worry." These words brought immense peace and comfort to countless souls who were lost or in despair. The Mass was the center of Padre Pio's universe. When he celebrated the Eucharist, it was not just a ritual. He was truly living the Passion of Christ. Those who attended his Mass said it was an unforgettable experience. They could see the pain on his face as he remembered Jesus on the cross. He would often weep. The Mass would sometimes last for hours because he was so lost in prayer. He was connecting heaven and earth at the altar. Through his deep reverence and devotion, he taught everyone the true meaning of the Mass. He showed them that Jesus is truly present in the Holy Eucharist, waiting for us with open arms. His life was not easy. Besides the physical pain of the stigmata, he faced many trials from within the church. For many years, he was investigated and placed under restrictions. He was not allowed to celebrate Mass in public or hear confessions for a time. These were very painful years for him. He obeyed his superiors without complaint. He offered his suffering to God in silence and prayer. This period of trial only made his faith stronger. It proved his deep humility and his unwavering love for the Church. He trusted in God's plan, even when it was very hard to understand. Padre Pio's faith was simple and total. He believed in God like a child believes in a loving father. He trusted God completely in everything. This faith was not just an idea in his mind, it was the air he breathed. He lived every moment in the presence of God. When people asked him for advice, his answer was always rooted in faith. He encouraged everyone to pray the rosary. He called it his weapon. Through prayer, he found the strength to face his daily sufferings and the endless crowds of people who needed him. His faith was a bright light that drew people out of darkness and into a relationship with God. Holiness for Padre Pio meant loving God with all his heart and loving his neighbor as himself. He showed this love in very practical ways. He saw the face of Jesus in every person who came to him, especially the sick and the poor. He wanted to help them not just spiritually, but also physically. This desire led him to build a great hospital. He called it the Casa Sollievo della Sofferenza, which means the home for the relief of suffering. He started this project with very little money, but with enormous faith. He knew that if it was God's will, it would be done. Today, it is one of the best hospitals in Italy, a lasting monument to his holy love for others. Perhaps his greatest virtue was his humility. Despite his incredible spiritual gifts, Padre Pio always saw himself as a poor friar and a useless servant. He never wanted attention or praise. He often tried to hide the stigmata from others. When people called him a saint, he would become uncomfortable. He would say, "I am only a sinner." He knew that everything he had, the stigmata, the ability to read hearts, the miracles, was a gift from God. It was not his own doing. This deep humility kept him grounded. It allowed God to work through him in powerful ways. He was a pure channel for God's grace. These three virtues, faith, holiness, and humility, were woven together in his life. You could not separate them. His strong faith led him to a life of holiness. His holiness was expressed through his love for God and others, and his humility was the foundation for it all. He gave an example of this when he spoke about prayer. He said that prayer is the key that opens the heart of God. But he knew that the hand that turns that key must be a humble one. He taught us that to be close to God, we must first become small. We must recognize our own weakness and our complete dependence on Him. The life of Padre Pio teaches us a powerful moral lesson about suffering. He showed us that suffering does not have to be meaningless. When we unite our pain with the suffering of Jesus on the cross, it can become a source of grace for ourselves and for the world. Padre Pio did not waste a single moment of his pain. He offered it all to God for the conversion of sinners. He teaches us not to run from our crosses, but to carry them with faith and love. In a world that seeks to avoid pain at all costs, his example is a radical and necessary reminder of the redemptive power of suffering. Another important lesson from his life is the importance of prayer and the sacraments. Padre Pio was a man of constant prayer. He showed us that a deep relationship with God is not just for priests or nuns, it is for everyone. He also reminded us of the immense power of confession and the Holy Eucharist. He called confession the bath of the soul. He showed us the Mass as the greatest prayer we have. His life calls us to return to these fundamentals of our faith. He encourages us to make time for God in our busy lives, to seek His mercy, and to receive Him in the Eucharist with love and devotion. Padre Pio lived a life of complete obedience and love for the Church. Even when he was misunderstood and punished by his superiors, he never spoke a word against them. He showed heroic humility and loyalty. This is a crucial lesson for us today. It is easy to criticize and complain. It is much harder to obey and trust. Padre Pio teaches us that the Church is our mother, and we must love her even when we see her flaws. We must pray for her and serve her with humble hearts, trusting that Jesus is always guiding her. His example challenges us to be faithful sons and daughters of the Church. Padre Pio died on September 23, 1968. At the moment of his death, the stigmata which he had carried for 50 years completely disappeared. His work on earth was finished, but his work in heaven was just beginning. In 2002, Pope John Paul II declared him a saint. Today, millions of people around the world continue to be inspired by his life. They pray to him for help and guidance. Saint Padre Pio remains a powerful sign of hope. He shows us that an ordinary person, through faith, humility, and love, can become a great saint and a bright light for the world. His legacy is a call to all of us to live for God,